Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is a little bit different. I'm trying something new. Usually I go live, like really live in the group at 11:30 on Tuesdays, but I know that's not like a great time for everybody. So I am recording this and I'm going to stream this live at 4:30 today, and hopefully that's a better time for people. So today I wanted to talk about motivation and inspiration for getting back on track, getting healthy, because I know that's an issue for some people is you kind of lose your motivation, you get settled into a rut, and it's easy to sort of just stay there and then to just constantly, well, I should, and then just kind of stay where you are. So we're going to unpack some of that and talk about that today. I'm going to give you four specific things that will help you with this to find your motivation. And someday I would love to have like a downloadable workbook. Maybe that'll come at some point. So, um, I would love to know in the comments, where are you on your motivation to get healthy? So are you number one, where your motivation has left the building and you're kind of like, I need to get back there, but it's just gone? Are you like number 2, I'm kind of in and out and back and forth? Or are you a number 3, which is I am on it and I am actively working on it? So wherever you are is great. So let's talk about how you find your motivation. So I did another video on this and I talked about the key to finding your motivation is your why, and that is really true. But I wanted to go a little deeper on that. So, the first thing that you really need to define when you're finding your motivation is what pain do you want to get away from? So, and the reason why I say this is because people will run away from pain faster than they will go toward pleasure. So, you can define where you want to be, how you want to feel, what you want to be able to get back to, and that's all great, but it may not be motivating enough for you because as humans, we are really motivated by honestly because of the way our brains have developed. The amygdala is like kind of the fear center, and that is fear often drives us. So the pain, we're often more motivated to get away from pain than we are to go towards pleasure. So think about, what pain do you want to get away from? It can be literal pain, because some people have pain that's driven by inflammation. It can be other kinds of pain, like feeling tired or just having like kind of GI not feeling great, like you're not doing great with digestion. So, what kind of pain? Or maybe you're not able to do certain activities that you really wanted to do, whatever it is. So, what pain is it that you want to get away from? Um, and the other thing is to I'd like to focus on how you're feeling rather than just looks and a number on the scale. But for some people, that can be a motivation as well of, I want to be able to, fit into this dress or whatever. However, you want to be careful with that because we can really drive ourselves to a place of perfection that's kind of unsustainable. So make sure it's something sustainable that you're doing. But knowing what pain that it is that you want to get away from. Sometimes it's cravings, because we know when we eat for blood sugar balance, we can really kind of conquer the cravings. For me, the pain was just being tired all the time and kind of just not feeling good a lot. So identify what is the pain that you want to get away from. So if you don't mind sharing, you can drop in the comments what pain that you want to get away from. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we do want to identify what pleasure we're moving toward. So what is your goal? What is your vision? What do you want to feel like in the future when you have changed some habits? So that could be having more energy, maybe you're sleeping better, maybe it's more effortlessly making healthier choices. For some people, that's less pain, better digestion, lots of different things. And as well, of course, there is just as a byproduct of that is when you're focusing on all of those things, often then you do tend to find yourself feeling better and enjoying fitting into whatever clothes you want and hitting your goals. So that is can be part of it as well. So identify what pleasure you want to move toward. So for me, I just wanted to not feel tired all the time. I wanted to be able to start running again without feeling like, oh, I'm just like so tired and just dragging myself around. That was really a big piece of it for me. Also, I had a lot of GI issues too, so just not feeling bad was a big thing for me. So I wanted to just feel good and have that energy. Then I think it also is really helpful. Number three is to know who else are you doing this for? Because for some people, it's a lot easier to do this when you're motivated by something external. And there are different personality types. And I've done a video on this before, and I'll do another video on this as well, because I find this so helpful. And this is really sometimes it's who else you're doing it for in terms of maybe it's your kids. I know I'm a special needs mom, and so I have somebody that I'm going to have to care for a long time. So I need to make sure that I am healthy and that I can do this. And I also want to be able to do things, be really active regardless of my age. So that's important to me as well. But, my someone else, is Jack, my son, also Bill, my husband, because I know he wants to be active for a long time, so I wanna be able to do things with him as well. So those are the other people that I'm doing this for. And sometimes the external accountability can help as well, and you can use this group for that because we typically check in on Mondays and then we talk about our wins on Fridays. Now, the last thing, which is really important, is what kind of faulty thinking you need to change. And I think this is a big one for motivation. So, this is things like typically, sometimes we have ways of thinking that can be limiting our motivation. So, for example, are you making this an all or nothing proposition? Are you thinking of this as I have to make this big, huge effort and it's going to be so hard to do, or I'm not even going to bother doing it. So, are you making it into a really big thing? So it doesn't have to be a big thing. So you can start with one tiny, tiny change. And that can be getting healthy. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing full out effort. It could be something as simple as changing what you're having for breakfast tomorrow. It could be something as simple as changing what you're going to have for a snack or for lunch tomorrow. And this can sometimes get into some of our habits, but see what's the smallest thing that you can do to start moving into something healthy. And if you can have one small win, that makes your brain happy and it's easier to move to the next small win and the next small win and the next small win. So celebrate those small wins, but it doesn't have to be a giant effort. Are you thinking that it has to be this really big thing? So this is kind of similar, but are you feeling like maybe you've tried to get healthy many times in the past, and then you start for a while and then you don't stick with it. So you feel, and then you label yourself as a failure for whatever reason. So this is where we're not giving ourselves credit for things. So, and it's kind of a form of perfectionism. So it could be that maybe you tried something before and you didn't get all the way. But here's the thing, you tried and you did something, and that made a difference. So here's the thing, that people will go all day. So let's take the example of if you work in an office and there's a candy dish, right? And you're walking by the candy dish 17 times. And then on the 18th time, you have something. So what you're ignoring, and then you beat yourself up for it, right? So what you are ignoring there is that you were successful 17 times. It doesn't matter that you didn't make it all the way through the day because you're throwing out the whole day because of that one thing at the end. So, and then you begin to sabotage yourself, but you're not allowing yourself to move forward and succeed because of that one thing. So if you give yourself credit for the small things that you did and you kind of, make it a smaller thing, it doesn't have to be a giant thing. And then there's also the I'll start tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow, because it's easier to just stay where we are today. And again, this sometimes is related to feeling like this has to be a really big thing, but it doesn't have to be a giant thing. You can start with something that is really small. So, probably in a couple of weeks, I haven't planned it out yet, but we will be having another 5-day challenge. And those are great to get your feet wet and start making some healthy changes. So you can take a look out for that. So I'd love to know, what kind of faulty thinking do you engage in that is holding you back? So drop in the comments what has helped you the most with this and where you are in terms of your motivation. Thank you so much for watching me, and I'll be going live on Thursday night to get you started with blood sugar balance. So it'll be kind of your getting started guide with that so that you will be able to do that. And then next week, we'll be doing masks and meditation. Thank you so much for joining me.